Golden West continues its multi-year Fiber to the Home project to update its entire service territory with fiber optic technology. This will mean faster and more reliable internet connections for our members. We at Golden West are committed to connecting our over 32,000 members to our fiber network. The massive project requires a total of about 14,000 miles of fiber optic cable be buried in the ground, with much of that already in place. Our fiber network allows us to deliver services at the speed of light, literally.
Those of you subscribing to voice and internet services today receive those services via copper cable, where data is moved using electronic signaling. Once the Fiber to the Home upgrade is complete, Golden West will deliver those same services over very long, thin, pure strands of glass called optical fibers. These fibers carry data using pulses of light.
A fiber connection provides many benefits over the outdated copper system, including greater bandwidth speed. Fiber to the Home provides more bandwidth than copper. Bandwidth describes the amount of data you can receive at any moment in time. Think of this like water running through a garden hose. Fiber optics offer both a larger hose than copper and more pressure. Delivering more data at once helps meet growing connectivity needs. Immunity and reliability. Fiber provides extremely reliable data transmission. It's immune to many environmental factors that can affect copper cable. The fiber core is made of glass, which is an insulator so electric current does not flow through it and water does not affect it. Dedicated connection. A dedicated fiber strand serves every home and business Golden West upgrades. That means all the available bandwidth is always available exclusively to you, and your online experience is not impacted by your neighbor's online activity. Most people in larger cities share connections and do not have dedicated fiber. Long-term compatibility. The performance of fiber is only limited by the type of equipment used on either end of the cable, so it will play a significant role toward the future growth of all the communities that we serve. Customers on the fiber network can subscribe to the fastest internet speeds Golden West provides. The need for faster internet has increased over the past 10 years. For work, education, leisure, and healthcare, more of our daily activities have moved online.
15 years ago, 3 megabit service was probably sufficient, and today we know that's insufficient. So the trend with the bandwidth requirements has outpaced the ability for a lot of companies, not just Golden West, but for a lot of companies to be able to put that infrastructure in place. So we just feel that we don't know exactly what the next 10 years will bring. We just know the bandwidth requirements are going to increase quite a bit. What drives that too is just the number of devices in the household. So like I say, 10 years ago you might have had a desktop. Now you have laptops, you have iPads, you have smartphones, you have refrigerators and doorbells and camera systems that all rely on Wi-Fi service, and that all takes bandwidth. So the more devices you have, the more bandwidth demand there is.
You may be wondering if bringing fiber to your home or business will increase your internet, TV, or phone rates through Golden West.
No, there is no cost to the customer for the fiber optic upgrade, neither for the construction nor with regard to rates. Bringing fiber to these communities will not, in and of itself, increase rates. Rate adjustments may be driven by outside forces, things like government mandates from the FCC or cable TV programming rate increases. Much like Golden West's past investments, the fiber optic infrastructure is a long-term investment in these communities.
The planning to bring fiber to your neighborhood and home has already begun. Starting in the spring, a Golden West wiring contractor will contact you to begin Phase 1. The contractor will take care of any necessary preliminary wiring inside your home or business, will hang a clamshell on the exterior of your home or business and will hang a small board inside.
We do have crews that come in and make sure that all the wiring will meet our specifications and be the best in place for the fiber optics. So this is what we consider, or what we call a clamshell, that will be on the outside of each subscriber's location. And so then, as you see on this, what we call a riser, this conduit will go down under the ground. So the cable will come up to the house inside transition piece for our fiber. It'll store some slack in here. We'll come back down this side and into this, what they call an LB, into the house, into a central location that will have all of our wiring come into. That's the point at which the fiber will go transition back down this into the house, and then we will have a board inside, usually, especially in a house setup in a utility room or something of that nature, where maybe the power comes in and the other communications already demarks back to that. So you might already have something like this in your home. If you do, we'll keep a lot of that in place. If not, we'll put this little 1x2 board in. We'll mount our devices here. So these are all your copper wiring that's on the inside of the house. Will come back to like one of these blocks. We'll have a power strip, and then this device is emergency battery backup.
Weather dependent, the construction contractor for your area will begin mainline construction in your area in the spring.
So when we talk about mainline construction, that'll be the actual, just simply the main lines that come from our central office. Go down typically alleys. We like to stay everything in the alleys. So when we go down an alley, then we can feed multiple directions out of one single alley. So once we go down, like say, an alleyway in a town application, then the drop portion is that cable that goes from the alley to each individual location or each individual subscriber, which is a much smaller cable. Again, in town applications, a lot of times they'll use what we call a boring machine. So sometimes that'll allow them to go from one point several hundred feet to another point all underground without tearing the ground up. So they'll might dig one small hole on one end and then bore the cable, pull the cable back through a hole 4, 6, maybe 8, 10 inches in diameter, and pull some what we call duct with that, and so that we can pull multiple cables through that one single duct. For the drops, once again, we'll use maybe boring machines. There'll be times if there's a lot of things in the way in a yard, we'll bore that. But otherwise, they'll use a small vibratory plow and with big fat tires so they don't damage, or tracks in a lot of cases so they don't damage people's lawn. But once again, on the mainline stuff out in the rural, where we're going across either private or public right away, we'll have big cats, they call it, with big tracked vehicles. One we'll have a plow and putting the cable in, and we might have a second one pulling that first mainline plow. So they have a lot of equipment, a lot of backhoes, things of that nature.
Golden West and its contractors will notify South Dakota One Call 811 prior to any work on your property. Some underground items are not covered under 811. These include things like sprinkler systems, sewer septic systems, underground power or lighting, and invisible dog fences. Please assist contractors by marking these systems or informing Golden West or the contractor about these items prior to the fiber drop on your property. Throughout the spring and summer, and sometimes even into fall, in and around your area, Golden West contractors will plow and bore mainline fiber underground, install underground vaults or boxes to hold equipment, and bury lines to individual homes and businesses with small lawn plows and boring machines. Phase 2 occurs in the fall and sometimes into winter. First, the fiber cables are spliced and thoroughly tested. Then a Golden West contractor will schedule an appointment with you to transition your service from the old copper system to the newly installed fiber optic network.
And so what that will entail is our wiring contractor, once again, will have to be in the house. So that final piece, they'll come in and everything that's on their current copper, they'll migrate that over to the fiber, and they will add probably a new modem that we'll utilize. And then when they're done, they'll work with internal staff at Golden West to do that conversion. and then what we say like for like. So whatever services they have today, they'll have when we cut them over. So if you have cable TV and internet and phone, we'll make sure all those services are working before they leave. So they'll do some testing. They'll make sure that they test that the broadband signal is sufficient for the house. They'll make sure the phone's working. They'll make sure their cable TV is working if they have cable TV. So we want to make sure when they get done with that piece that everything is up and working okay.
As work is completed, Golden West contractors will do any necessary cleanup work and return your yard to its original state.
Cleanup, once again, if they bore, obviously there's a very little impact, but except where they start and where they come out of the ground. So they'll restore that as best their ability. Those areas, they'll rake it out and reseed if need be. Those areas where they use a plow, there'll be just a small slot in the ground, a couple inches wide. A lot of times that'll kind of fold back over on itself, but then they will run back over that with the piece of equipment that they're using just to kind of pack that back down. And in any areas where we'd actually disturb the ground or have to dig, we will restore that back. So they will rake that out and they'll reseed those areas.
While the construction and wiring contractor completes most of the fiber upgrade work, Golden West stays actively involved and continues to focus on its number one priority, you.
Well, as I always say in the last few years, is Golden West, obviously we work with the contractors behind the scenes daily. We have a lot of contact with them, but truly customer service is our number one goal throughout this, so that we want to ensure, as I tell people, this is construction. At times there will be a mess. We clean it up. We expect our contractors to clean up after themselves when they get done. But if at any time there is ever an issue, we really encourage our customers to contact us at Golden West and ask for the engineering department if need be, and just make sure that we're aware of any issues that might be out there so that we can bring that to their attention. We want to make sure that happens.
The Golden West Engineering Department manages the projects and addresses members' questions and concerns. Final cleanup work is completed the following spring.
Customers frequently wonder when the alleys will be smoothed or dirt filled in, and there's going to be settling over the winter, so we do require the contractors to come back in the spring. So if a customer wanted to report that there's a hole or an area that needs attention, that will be addressed in the spring. It's not a long-lasting fix to come in the winter and do it, so we do prefer to do that in the spring, but we will address it if they tell us about it. And they'll also do a ride-through and inspect anyway, so that happens every spring after the year following construction.
The fiber projects take months to complete. Work will start in the spring and may not be complete for all customers in the area until early in the following year. Customers will notice the benefits of the Golden West fiber network following the Phase 2 cutover appointment in your home or business.
The biggest change will be for our rural subscribers that we're out in the rural area, some distance away from our offices. The copper has a limited capacity as far as bandwidth when you're talking internet. The phone should work about the same, but the internet's where the biggest change will be. So the greatest speeds we can hope to get in some of those areas fall under even 10 meg if there's some distance out. And with fiber, they'll be able to get any package that we offer today and hopefully in the future, no matter where they're located.
Golden West appreciates your patience and understanding during these projects. All customers included in the projects will be contacted multiple times throughout the year. Watch for phone calls, emails, and letters. You can help keep projects on track by ensuring your preferred phone number and email are listed on your account. Keep in mind that only the person or persons authorized can make these types of account changes. Visit goldenwest.com/FTTH for more information about the Fiber to the Home project, along with weekly updates about the project in your area. Submit additional questions using the online form on the page or call 1-855-888-7777 and ask for the engineering department. Remember to notify your construction contractor about any underground utilities that may interfere with construction.
Thank
thank you for being a member of the Golden West Telecommunications Cooperative. We look forward to serving you with faster internet and even more reliable services for many more years to come over fiber optics.